I always knew starting out that I wanted to create a business that was based off of attraction.
A lot of times agents want to focus on the operational stuff and nobody cares.
You can have the best video in the world, but if you can't get someone to click on that video, what the heck is the point?
Welcome back to yet another fun-filled episode of the REVB podcast. I'm Katie Day here with my co-host Timothy Macy, who likes to roll in on his chair into the frame. If you're watching this on video, you saw it, and most people are listening, so no one really cares. Hey Tim, how are you today?
It's good. It's good. And I'm super excited because today we have our good friend, Dan Parker, also known as Dan Diego. Is that right?
That
Yeah.
took what I was gonna say, so I'm just gonna
That's
leave.
how this podcast goes. If you are a regular listener, you know Katie and I fight for our moments. You know,
All right, Dan Parker, what's going on, man? I am very excited to dig in with you today. For people that may not know you, who are you? How'd you get into real estate? And just wow us.
Yes, happy to be here, my friends. There are few combinations of people that I love more than these two right here. I love the back and forth. You two are rock stars. Appreciate the heck out of you. Yes, the hand heart sign. I love that. Yeah, so I've been in real estate for 7 years now. I finally started to see success after plenty of years of struggling and bartending at nights to pay my mortgage. I finally started to see some success through YouTube and really through creating a channel about relocating to San Diego. That's where I started to gain a lot of traction. I always knew starting out that I wanted to create a business that was based off of attraction. And so everything that I do, even if it's going to take me longer to figure it out, it's always been centered around that fact of how do I figure out how to get people to pick up the phone and call me? Because if I started a business based off of having to door knock and cold call, that was just not sustainable for who I am. And so that's what I did. YouTube eventually worked out after trying plenty of different things that didn't work for me or the way that I did it, from farming to back in the day doing videos on Facebook and Instagram early on, not having really a lot of success there. YouTube just worked, and then we're continuing to grow our business from there.
so
we've
Dan. Oh, this is how you want to start? We're just gonna argue right off the bat.
You guys are
Katie.
just so excited to have me here. It's okay. We'll have time for all your questions. I
well,
promise.
and so we've had other people on talk about YouTube, and I think we've been through kind of like the ABCs of YouTube and like a talking head style, relocation style channel. What would be your advice to someone, if they were getting started, of like, here are the top mistakes I made, don't do this?
I think the biggest problem that people do is they start to make videos about them or what they think buyers and sellers out there are going to want to watch videos on. And so that's mistake number one. Don't start making videos about what escrow is, or contingency period. Like, you don't need to do that stuff. You educate your current clients on that. No one looking to buy a house is going to start searching what is escrow. They'll figure that out. They're searching like, what are the best homes in San Diego? Where are the best neighborhoods? Where are the pros and cons? Like, those are the things people are searching for. So getting into the head of the people that are going to eventually watch your videos to help you tailor make those videos to those people is really, really important. And that's actually a thing I learned from Sharon from way back in the day, like way before Real Broker. He was talking about that kind of stuff. Tim, were you going to say something?
No, I think I was
important.
going to say something till Katie cut me off. And we've already moved past it, so I'm not going to go back, Katie. All right. So just give me my turn. I waited in line and I'm here. Yeah, I do think that a lot of times agents want to focus on the operational stuff and nobody cares. And I do love your channel and how you have focused on the topics that matter. And so, like Katie said, we have had a lot of people that have come on here. We do want to dig into some of the other stuff you're doing. But my last question before we move on to that is, I've used your thumbnails and titles in presentations. The way your titles don't tell people what the video is about.
Does it dance? Does the title dance with a thumbnail?
Oh my goodness, Katie knows all my crap. I haven't said my word yet.
No,
We'll see if it comes out. We'll see if it comes out. But yeah, like your thumbnails dance with the title and they pique curiosity so people click on them instead of just telling them everything that's in the video. So what does your process look like for making creative titles and thumbnails that you think people are gonna want to watch and be engaged with?
Yeah, this is probably mistake number two, or maybe even mistake number one that agents make when it comes to YouTube is you can have the best video in the world, but if you can't get someone to click on that video, what the heck is the point? And so the two things you have to focus on are going to be the thumbnail and the title of the video, and they should work together. They should explain kind of what the video is, so that when someone clicks on that video, it's the title and the thumbnail are a promise to what the video is, and then you have to deliver upon that promise. But I like to take inspiration from outside of our industry. So if you look at someone like Mr. Beast, his advice for a new YouTube creator is before you make one single video, before you hit the record button on one video, make 100 thumbnails. And so just get really good at that. Understand what works on them. Take a look on, go onto YouTube and just scroll through and see what thumbnails are grabbing your attention. The way I think about it is the thumbnail is just supposed to pique curiosity. So if someone's going onto YouTube, when I think about myself, I go onto YouTube because there's a specific video or specific channel I want to watch. But 50% of the time on that homepage, there's just one thumbnail out of those like 20 thumbnails that kind of captures my attention. And then the next thing my eyes go to is, okay, that captures my attention. Now, what is this video about? Which is what the title is. Between those two things, I should have a pretty good idea. And that's what makes me want to click.
One of the ones that I is the one that I put up in my examples is the title is massive news for buyers and renters living in San Diego. And then there's your face and like Airbnb logo is split in half and on fire.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the video is about. I don't know what the massive news is. I just know it's for buyers and renters. And maybe I live in San Diego and this is interesting to me and it piques a ton of curiosity and I can't help but click on it. Whereas a lot of times our agents want to say like, why this is the best neighborhood or something. Like, they just tell everybody what's in the video. Like, don't tell everybody in the video, pique the curiosity with the title and the thumbnail. And so you've got a bunch of those that I really like, but Katie, I'll let you take it. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, there's
can I do one little addition to what you just said, Tim, to bring this all together? So let's talk about the opposite. Let's talk about if I made that video and did what most agents would do, which is the thumbnail would say market update. And in the title, it would say episode 305. No one's going to click on that.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of segue from that into what you've kind of started a pet project you started working on, right? Of you're realizing that your clients coming in, it's like most of the people were relocating, right? And so most of your content has been around that. And so can we talk a little bit about your recent project? Is that public news?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm like he's nodding his head, but the smile's not reaching his eyes yet. I don't know.
What is cooking in the kitchen, Dan Parker? What are you working on?
The way that you presented it, I'm like, ooh, does she know something about my business that I don't know? Maybe she's
so Steph and I were talking. Your wife and I were talking, and so this is the next thing that you guys are working on. No, I'm just kidding.
So this is something that that we've been working on for a while, actually. And so it's probably about 2 years in. This happened when my wife Stephanie came over to work full time on her business. And a lot of agents out there, when they start to get busy and they have a significant other they want to bring over to help them, it's either, hey, become my admin, help me get rid of some of this busy work, or get a license and help me show homes. And I knew from the very beginning that's not what we wanted to do. I wanted to use her to get more business in a very specific way for something that she's really good at. And what that ended up being was essentially like giving back to and staying in front of our past clients, who we call our Best Life community. So we're the Best Life home team. We're really big on our Best Life community, and she runs and manages that. So we do a lot of different things, from events to promotions. Like I got a text today from the Best Life community that is, hey, we're promoting this cookie shop in San Diego. They have 3 locations. Text us back the word cookie if you want a gift card. So now we have this gift card. People can go out and on us get some cookies from this like really craft little niche spot in San Diego. We're promoting them. We're showing them cool things to do in San Diego. And all they have to do in return is take a photo and send it back to us so we can post it on our Best Life community on Instagram.
And so you're getting these, you're sending this out via text. So these are like past clients, Sphere, people that y'all know and already have their contact info, right?
It almost exclusively past clients. And then obviously like any referral partners are like really good friends that we have will include as well. But so it's an exclusive community for sure.
Yeah. So I love the exclusivity. Like, do you guys have a newsletter at all?
Yeah.
All right.
We have we have a monthly email and a quarterly newsletter that we send them. in the
Challenge would be
scenario.
to win a $50 gift card, text or, DM me the word cookie and then start getting emails for your email newsletter and then give away like a gift card to people just for signing up for the newsletter. And then like, they're in, but they're not like VIP in,
Yep.
You guys just, so many times I try to get somebody to do something and they don't want to do it. And I'm like, what do you want, a cookie? Like, what do I have to do? And apparently, maybe that's the answer. Like, maybe I do need to give them a
Yeah,
cookie.
you've created multiple keynotes around cookies. Like,
I
so, I think that's
That
going
is
to be a thing for
that
you.
is true. It does make me think about my brilliant Venn diagram that I always set REVB. And but on a serious note, I think a lot of people generate business from social media and it turns into a very transactional business where Dan calls me, he saw my YouTube video, I help him buy a house. Katie calls me, they saw my YouTube video, I help him buy a house. And it just stays transactional. And what Dan's hitting on is, I think, a huge part, what should be of all of our businesses, is actually building community with our clients and with our, whatever our world is, because that way you're keeping that relationship going forward. And so if you're getting, I don't know, how many deals did you close from YouTube directly in 23, Dan?
So it was a little over 50% of our business. So it was 12 million,
Okay,
12 or
so
13 million.
12 million in sales from just YouTube is awesome. But how do you turn that into 20? How do you turn that into 40? So much of that is not going to come from new leads, but is taking care of those leads and having them become part of a community. And so I do think that's not something we talk about. We talk about building a YouTube channel to get the phone to ring, but not enough about, the extra things you can layer on top of it to really build brand and community.
We've done a lot of things this year. This actually clicked in for me, guys, when I was listening to Alex Hermosi, and he was talking about, how to compare how to compare different businesses together,
Yeah.
or like ROI for ads or something like that. And he kept talking about the lifetime value of client. It's not what are they going to pay for one time. It's
Yeah.
what are they going to pay for over the life of their experience with you. And so this really just kind of like opened my mind to, wait, I know we've implemented these things with our Best Life community to stay in front of people, to get more business out of them, to get repeat referral business. But now there's actually a way that you can track this. And so it's been really interesting for me over the course of this year. Now we have metrics on, here's our goals and here's what we want to get out of our clients. So I'm looking at, based on what we're selling this year, we anticipate like a lifetime value of our client for real estate to be 15 years. We anticipate 3.14 transactions for every person that we close. So that when they close, that's the first one. And then so another 2.14 transactions over a 15-year period based on how many repeat referral deals we're doing on a regular basis right now.
I love that. Well, and so, you mentioned the cookie thing. So not only are you promoting the local business, you're getting pictures from your clients that you can then repurpose and use those on social. You also are doing a lot of events too. Can we talk a little bit about some of the events? Like you're doing community events, like I've seen like the beach cleanup, but then you're doing like happy hours and just regular client appreciation stuff. I think people often overlook events because they can get a little pricey, right? But like,
Mhm.
as you said, if like, they're going to transact 2 or 3 more times or refer 2 or 3 more people, like it's well worth the effort in my opinion. So let's talk a little bit about events and like what you guys are doing on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this is where, one of these days we'll get Stephanie on one of these calls so that she can actually break down. So her background is she had an events company here in San Diego and she shut that down to help me here. So she's phenomenal at events. So good luck trying to do exactly what we're doing day one, but you can take hints and there, we can give you some really good ideas of different things you can do. Before we did our very first event, I talked to Steph and I said, look, I need to figure out a way that we can do events that people don't feel like, oh, I feel obligated to go to. I want them to feel bummed and have FOMO if they don't get a chance to go to.
Yeah.
So like, how do we make that happen? And some of the big things we did were like, number one, there's basically zero self-promotion at these events. It's all about them, 100% about them. Now we have we have our tent that we bring out that's branded. And then like we have one really big event that we throw every year, which is a picnic in the park. And we get a taco truck, we get a bounce house, we get all these different things. And then I'll usually, in my like speech to everybody, that one time a year, just tell them how much we love referrals and congratulate or thank every single person that's given us a referral over the last couple of months. Like that's the most promotion we do all year long with our past clients. But as far as the specific events that we do, yeah, a lot of our past clients are moving here from other places. So we want to get them exposed to what San Diego has to offer. And so we've done beach cleanups. The last one we did was a trivia night at a brewery. So we had a couple different like tables. We got, we gave everyone tickets to go get beer on us. And then there was like a food truck there. So we just brought some food in. We're doing a game night at the Padres. So we have 50 tickets to a Padres game, and we're going to bring, a bunch of our past clients there. There is that one event that we do every single year. That's a bigger event, which is our picnic. And the cool thing about that is our lender pays for the food truck. Our insurance guy pays for the bounce house. We get about 50% of it financed. So we're not just spending totally out of pocket there. But we have a bunch of free giveaways. We have, different games people can play. I don't know. We do all sorts of events, and that's what Steph specializes in is getting those set up.
What I love most about events is like it's a very easy way to I would rather call and invite someone to a party, right? And invite them to an event than call them and ask them like how their home is and if they know anyone that's looking to buy or sell. In my experience, when you call to invite them to the party and do the things, they're like, "Oh, by the way, like my coworker just said they're looking to buy a house. Can I send them your info? Is that okay?" Like, yes, that's completely okay. Please do, and so that's just a lot easier of a way to do that. I think that when Steph joined you and you started doing these events, you were at a place in your business, obviously, that could support that, right? Financially. When you were first starting out, did you do anything that were like lower budget type events that, if I was a brand new agent and I just had a few clients, would be a little bit more budget friendly?
Yeah, you don't have to get all crazy with these events. In fact, I think the micro events can be even more impactful. Part of the reason we went really big on the events is because we had staff, but also this was a huge selling point for agents to want to join our team. It's not just, hey, I'm going to give you a ton of leads. I'm going to help you get more business out of your your current and your past clients and your SOI. So that's a huge opportunity for all them when they join our team. As far as smaller events, yeah, I mean, I think breweries are a great option. Like in San Diego, like any event space is crazy.
I mean, come on.
Breweries are really fun and easy because most of them have big spaces that you don't actually have to rent out, or maybe they'll let you rent it out for like very minimal money.
Yeah.
And like you buy a couple rounds of beer. Like it's really not a lot at all. When we started out, we did events at our house. Our sphere was small enough. We did events at our house, and there's an additional sense of I don't know, just bringing
Connection.
people over. Yeah, connection. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Tim.
Tim, thank you for that contribution. Yeah. The breweries are good, and honestly, like doing things in public places, I think is good because then you have people coming up being like, "Oh, what's this best life thing?" Or what are you guys doing over here? What is this?
I do think a lot of our agents overthink it, and I love the idea that you said you used to have people at your house. Like I think a lot of agents overthink it, and I'd go as far as just tell people when you're going to the zoo. Like, we're going to the zoo on Saturday morning. Like, does anybody want to come? Like, you don't have to
100%.
go crazy, but what happens is maybe 5 people and you go to the zoo together, and you guys all hang out. Great. And now all of a sudden, like, oh, maybe this is working. Now you've got more clients. Then you do something bigger. Then you do something bigger. But it was one of our messages always at REVB is just start. And so I would just say start with the easiest thing possible. So like what's the easiest way that you got started with doing events and connecting with your sphere?
Event at the house was probably the easiest, but like right now we're talking today about we're going to do a summer pickleball league because we have a pickleball court in our community. Like that literally costs me nothing, and we can just have people over, play some pickleball, which is really hot right now. But like Katie was saying, I mean, like community parks,
hot right now, so hot,
so hot right now. Yeah. So there's so many options. And the nice thing about doing the smaller events is you get way more face time with people. When we throw our
1000%.
big event every single year, I feel like I'm at a wedding with 200 people and have to like quick little yes, hi to everybody. Whereas the smaller events, when it's like 30 people, I think that's a great sweet spot because you really can have an opportunity to connect with every single person there. And you can even encourage them to bring their friends. Like,
Yeah.
that's an amazing opportunity.
Love it.
You took the point that I was going to make about the
Oh,
smaller events. Cause like we just did a client event last weekend and like, we probably had 150 people there and it was great. And it was a ton of fun. And, getting text after like, oh shit, that was this weekend. I can't believe I missed it. But, you have the conversation, then you see someone walk in, then you see someone over here. Like, so you're all over the place.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I don't like, how big is your database, would you say?
So our best life community is
Mhm.
who we're inviting to these events is, I don't know, just under 200. It's not big because we're in a higher price market and we don't
Okay.
do the volume that most markets
But
do.
I would assume with all your stuff, you probably have a bigger list somewhere. Would that be right? Like, do you have a database with buyer leads and all sorts of other stuff that's a larger pool, and then you have a smaller best life community?
Yes. Yeah. We have, well, and here's what's cool about the smaller best life community too, is when we actually go through on like last year, how much money we made per community member. That means every single person in our community is worth $1,088 on an annual basis. So you
That's
like
amazing.
literally, if you don't want to spend a couple $100 to buy beer for your past clients,
Yeah.
just if you really did the breakdown of what you can make off of them just from repeat and referral business, it's crazy. So,
So,
but
tell me what makes someone that you put in that group of 200? Like, what does that look like? Because for me, I'm just like, oh, put everybody in there. But it sounds like it's a good selective crew, and because of that, you're probably building better community. So, what's that look like?
yeah, it's over 90% is past clients. A lot of them are YouTube, and they're just like young families that are like-minded and got along with my personality. So they're like, it's a great fit because a lot of them, they have the opportunity to network and engage with other young families here in San Diego.
So, are you telling me if you have a dumpster fire of a transaction and like Katie buys a house from you and she's just the worst buyer you've ever worked with, like, do you not put her in your thing?
Luckily, usually I just fire those clients before we
Okay.
actually close on a home. But
Nice. Nice.
there's one past client. Sorry if you're listening, Kevin. There's one past client
You
that
didn't have to
did not
name
make it
drop,
onto the
you
list.
know?
Damn. Shots
Wait.
fired.
So is Kevin in the group or not?
No.
Okay. All right.
And Tim, just so we're on the same page here as far as like hierarchy of friendship and things like that, like I have received a best life care package at my home. I don't know if you
Wow.
have or not, but I have
Nice.
received a package and it had some nice San Diego shit in it and a koozie that I take with me to places where I control my other San Diego real estate friends.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, Katie, I don't know if you know this, but Dan and I are actually, I think, pretty good friends, and we spent a lot of time together prepping and getting ready for his big REVB talk he did last year. And I can
So
tell you,
you
uh,
didn't get a package.
I never got a package.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. I have a hat that I took from somebody, and I have a koozie that I also took from somebody. So I have scrounged together a care package from people who weren't looking when they had some best life San Diego stuff that I could steal.
Yeah. So, okay, we're just on the same page here as far
Hey,
as
Paige,
hierarchy
yes,
of
you
friendship.
are better
Okay.
friends with Dan than I am.
Yeah. All right. So,
Okay.
like, if we're talking about like ranking our clients, like I would be on the list. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I want to talk a little bit. Like your talk at REVB 2023 was around
Ooh.
like the YouTube 2.0, and so I kind of
Yep.
want to go back to YouTube a little bit because I think it ties into what we're talking about now. Like you said, you do a monthly newsletter. You said you're doing other things. Once you take a YouTube video and you post it on the YouTube, what are the things that you're doing to repurpose that content, put it on other platforms? Tim does not like this question.
No, it's
And
not that
other
I don't
stuff
like the
like
question.
that.
I just want to clarify for the audience. When Katie said the YouTube, she just means YouTube. It's not the, it's just YouTube. So I just don't want people to get
Do you
confused.
want me to just boot you from the studio, Tim?
All right. Back to the question. The audience is getting.
All right. So yeah, that's like YouTube 2.0. Like you post a video on YouTube. What's like your workflow for like next steps? Because like you're not just posting it and then like waiting for like the algo to take off and whatever. Like you're doing so many more things than the average agent.
Yeah, there's opportunity there, right? Because if I'm spending at least 1 to 2 hours just planning what I'm going to do for that video, I might as well get some more opportunity, some more out of that video. So the YouTube video itself is by far going to be the best performer. If you have a channel that's performing, you're doing really well, that's definitely the focus. But you still have other opportunities. You can write a blog and post a blog with that video. There's another site as well that I was using for a while. I know I mentioned it in my talk, called Newsbreak. And Newsbreak is an opportunity for like local news. So we were posting all of our blogs and all of our videos on there as well. After a year and a half of doing that, we were seeing plenty of people looking at our videos, but we never once had one person reach out. So we dropped that altogether, because you have to figure out at some point what's the ROI on this stuff. Then you have the opportunity to pull your videos into short form content. And I think for YouTube, probably the biggest opportunity there, well, I guess there's multiple, but like if you do YouTube lives, I think that is really good to pull some content out of there, throw in some B-roll, and you can put that across other platforms as well. And same thing with your long form videos. What I do is I'll either meet with a videographer once a month and go out and actually like record a full YouTube video, and then we'll record some shorts while we're at it.
Yeah.
Or what I've also been doing lately is I'll just go out and record short form content.
Well, and so I think that that's a differentiator from like the average person, is like most people are taking their YouTube video, long form video, 5 to 20 minutes or however long it is, or live, throwing it through Munch or Opus or any of these other AI editors. And like it does an all right job, right? It does an okay job. But you're saying, okay, if I want a short form video, I need a good hook, I needed this, I needed that. And we can talk about that more. So you just go and say, okay, I just shot this video on blah, 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 San Diego. Now I'm going to do 3 short form videos on blah, blah, blah that I can put on as shorts on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, that like fit that platform better than just cutting up your long form. And that's something, again, that like not many people are doing, but I think that extra time is something that really crushes. So kudos to you on that.
TikTok, RIP. It's too soon for that? It's going away, right?
I mean, it's what's been frustrating for me is like lately I've been like just scrolling on TikTok a lot. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do with my evenings if this all goes away? But anyway, so I think that what you're
Read a
doing is
book,
great.
Katie. I'll send you a book.
I don't like paint by numbers. So I think that it's a really good idea to do that. And so again, like I think what's kind of your formula when you're doing the short form of like, okay, if I'm breaking down my long form, what do I want to include in these shorts?
Yeah. So if I'm making a video in my home studio, usually what I'll do is I'll put all my attention and focus into making that long form video. I'll record it. I have a camera set up that never moves on my desk. So all I have to do is hit record. And then after I make the long form video, I'll stop the recording. I'll kind of scoot back a little bit. And then I'll just think off the top of my head, how can I say this kind of naturally? What's a really strong hook that I can have? And just do a quick 1 take, maybe 2 takes. And send that off to an editor. But like you said, Katie, I think a lot of people are looking for what's the easy solution here, like the Opus AI, and that shit just doesn't perform. It doesn't really do that well for these types of videos. The other thing you also have to keep in mind is like, who's your audience on all these different platforms? At first, I was just doing all my YouTube content and throwing it onto Instagram. But the problem there is my YouTube is really explicitly for people relocating to San Diego, and my Instagram is almost entirely people in San Diego, or now I have like an agent audience as well. And so those videos about moving to San Diego, they don't all necessarily relate to that audience. So trying to find shorts that make sense that you can actually post them cross-platform, I think is really good. I'm also seeing like what a lot of bigger content creators are doing out there. And again, this is like outside of real estate, is they'll actually create shorts and post them before they post the main video that they're pulling them from.
Yeah.
And I actually think that's really interesting, because now you're going back to their page multiple times to try and find that long form video because they sucked you in.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a very big opportunity as well.
We could go down. This is a rabbit hole, Dan. This is the YouTube shorts versus a long form versus does it help the channel or hurt the channel debates that we're not going to get into because I think it's too much. But I do like that. Like, I think everybody's looking for the easy solution when the best solution takes just like a little bit more work.
Yeah.
But I think it gets you a better result.
But I mean, there's other options out there as well. Like, you take that content. What's great is you're just learning so much from researching these videos. Now you can put that information out on other platforms. Reddit is a big one here, as far as there is what's called a subreddit, moving to San Diego. So it's literally just a group of people talking about moving to San Diego. And it's almost, I would say it's at least 75% renters, but absolutely every single week people post in there, I'm looking for $1 million home in San Diego. I have a budget up to 1.3. And so figuring out a way to utilize that is challenging, because anyone that knows Reddit, the second you talk about being an expert and you're in a sales-based business, they'll boot you out very
Yeah.
quick. So if you just go in there and be the expert, you have a lot of opportunities there. And then the other thing that Sharon brought up at REVB is, hey, just take your best performing long form videos and just put it as an ad on Facebook and Instagram. So we are working on that. And maybe something else we could talk about, Katie, is I'm making a relocation book to San Diego.
Yeah.
And so as soon as that's done, I'm going to take some of my best performing videos from YouTube, put it as an ad on Facebook, targeting people that are looking to move to San Diego.
Yeah.
And then if they click on that ad, it's going to bring them to a digital version of the book that we're finalizing here.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that there's just so much opportunity. We always make fun of Eric Hatch, because he has written a few books. And so, but nothing provides more credibility than being like, oh yeah, in my book, blah, 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 blah. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's exciting. I think that, again, you have so much opportunity to create downloadable PDFs, to download the entire book, just to purchase the book, to do all of these things. And I know that, again, our Hormozy move, from following him, that the irresistible offer.
That's right.
So you're doing more of that, doing more community stuff. What's like your thing you're working on that you're most excited about right now?
The next phase that we're working on right now, I think it's always important to have a good solid business, and I'm sure this relates to most businesses, is like you need 3 solid pillars of where you're going to get business from. And so we have YouTube, we have our past clients, repeat referral from past clients. And then the next big pillar that we're working on right now is geofarming. So we're figuring out ways to go after a geographic farm. There are 1,000 homes that we hit with mailers every other week. And starting next week, I think, we have our first community event in our geo farm, Mama's Day, which is a Mother's Day yoga in the park. And then we're just going to start doing more local events to really dominate this geographic area. So that's the next thing that we're working on. And once we start to see some success there, then we'll gladly share exactly what we're doing to make it happen.
Yeah, I love that. And just continuing to diversify, the lead pillars is always a good thing. So,
For sure.
I'm excited to hear more, because I know you guys always do things with lots of effort. And,
I also feel like he's keeping it close to the chest. Like he doesn't want to, give us the secrets, but that's okay.
well,
That's okay.
I appreciate other, not such great men might just be like, oh yeah, and this is what we do, and da 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 da, and like it hasn't actually worked. So I appreciate Dan be like, I will come back and tell you all the things when like I know that what we're doing is working. Like
I will say,
but
yeah, I will say we do have an emphasis on like making sure that things work before we start going to preach them all.
And it happens all the time. The amount of people that go out on I don't want to call anyone out, but it happens all the time where it's like people are so excited about this new thing they're doing. They're just so positive that it's going to be the next big thing. And then you ask them about 6 months later and like, oh yeah, we stopped doing that.
what?
So
what are you talking about? Yeah.
So geo farming is one of those things. When I started, I knew it would take at least a year to get my first deal out of it. It's a massive investment that we're like financial investment that we're putting forth. And I'm very confident it's going to work out, but I'm not going to tell people to do it until we're actually getting results from it.
I love that. So speaking of, we've been talking about a lot of your successes. You mentioned like the news break thing, right? You're like, we did it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work. What are some other things that you would like caution people to have some pause? Like, I think with most things in real estate, like if you do the things consistently enough, it generally works out. But like, are there any other things that like in the content space or the YouTube space that you would say, hey, before you go do this, maybe think about it a little bit?
Yeah, that's good, because I think there's 2 sides of that coin. Part is you need to do things for long enough to know whether or not it's going to work out or not.
Yeah.
And with everything, it's different. And you should really have that timeline up front, a very realistic timeline. If you're starting YouTube videos and thinking if you aren't going to get a deal in that first month that you're going to drop it, then don't even get started.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it takes you 3 years and you still haven't gotten that first lead, then at some point you have to realize, all right, this isn't working for me in my market for whatever reason. So I think that needs to be there. And the best way you can learn what those timelines should be is just talk to or gain exposure from other people that have won doing that. The nice thing about our brokerage and where we're at is we have these masterminds all the time on specific topics. So you can literally hop into a mastermind of people that have succeeded doing what you want to do and just ask them. And so that's really, really beneficial having the opportunity to do that. I think YouTube specifically, I think for the average agent, especially getting started, I don't even think you need to focus on shorts. There's been such an emphasis on shorts. And if making shorts is prohibiting you from making long form content, then just stop today and focus on the long form content, because that's what's going to get you deals. That's what's going to get people to pick up the phone and call you. Now, Alex Hormozi, again, he just released a video, I think last week, about how he's completely changing all of the marketing that he's doing. And one of the things is he was talking about how he does not get business from shorts. He gets business from long form content. And that's across the board. Everyone wants to have these sexy shorts because they're flashy and they're fun. And I think there are opportunities with it. But the thought of, I'm going to make this short form content, it's going to bring people to my long form content, I don't think works as often as people think it does. And if you think making a couple short form videos is going to make someone pick up the phone and call you, that's generally not going to happen either. It's a long form content.
You're just gonna push, you're gonna shove us down this rabbit hole, Dan. The rabbit hole I was trying to avoid. But yes, if you are listening, what the theory is, and I agree with Dan because we've seen this play out on a lot of channels, is that you can get a ton of views on your shorts, and you can have these shorts go viral and get 1 million views on YouTube Shorts. And then you get a bunch of subscribers, right? Because of this short about tiny homes in San Diego that took off. Great. Those people subscribe to your channel. Now, when you post your long form video, do the same people that have the attention span of a squirrel that watched your short, are they going to watch your long form? Because we know that when people watch your videos for hours, that's when they become the best leads, not when they watch your shorts for 20 seconds. And so what we find is if you build an audience based on shorts, a lot of times those audience don't watch your long form. And if your audience isn't watching your long form, YouTube's looking at your long form content saying, his subscribers don't even watch this stuff. Why are we going to show it to anybody else? And so it actually hurts your long form by having some of these shorts that get a bunch of subscribers for you. So hopefully that like contextualizes and puts it in a box. And Dan, you can put a bow on it if you want, because apparently that's your thing, putting bows on it.
I like the bows. I always just bring it back to what is the what's the experience from the viewer. And I think so. Obviously, I can only talk about my own experience. When I go on YouTube, the shorts that I consume are generally from people that I'm already watching their long form. So I think there's totally value in what Ken Pozek does in making all those shorts. Absolutely, anyone that watches him is going to be amazed because he puts out 30 or 50 shorts a week, whatever the heck he's putting out. It's crazy. But most people don't have that capacity. Most people, they don't have, the support that's needed to really do that well on a big scale. So focus on the long form first, and then that's something down the line.
I agree. And Ken's short form is so like highly focused on being the type of content that will get somebody to watch the long form. And I think that's also why it does well. So I don't know why, but I picked the like tiny house video. Like if you do a video on tiny houses in San Diego, like you may just get a bunch of people that are commenting on it and whatever, think it's a racket or, this and that. And that audience just may not be interested in your content that's like really breaking down the local things that are happening in San Diego. So always back to the audience, I think is super important. All right, look, you're throwing a lot of stuff at us. We've been like dodging it. You've been throwing great things at us. But I want to like back up, settle in, and talk to the person that really wants to start a YouTube channel, or talk to the person that has a YouTube channel. They've put up 5 videos and it hasn't done much. Like, What's your advice to them in this big world of social media where they can go 20 different directions?
Yeah, I mean, you need to figure out what your plan is. If a lot of times, and most of us have been through this, most of us that try the YouTube, at some point you just get overwhelmed. You stop making content. I'm going through a phase of that right now. Of like, I just feel stuck and overwhelmed because I'm thinking too big. There are too many options, and at those points, you have to really bring it narrow again. And a lot of us as well. Like, you'll start to make a channel, you'll start to make content, and then after a certain period of time, you're like, I feel like I've talked about everything. Well, who cares? Talk about it again. Look at your best performing video, remake that video, or make like what would be the next video after that video, because most people are not going to watch every single one of your videos. I have probably 200 videos on my YouTube channel. What percent of those videos is the average viewer watching? One or two? So don't worry about that. Like, the more you can be the expert on a specific topic, the better. And so, like, for example, most people would think if you have a channel about moving to an area, that your listing video should be on your channel as well. I don't put my listing videos on my YouTube channel because that's not what people are looking for. New construction can work because that's going to be available for the next couple of months. And I'll actually get people that pick up the phone and call me saying, I would love to buy a new home there almost every single time. That's a really good one to make. But yeah, just really focus in on the type of content you're making, the pillars that you're making, who you're speaking to, and just stay focused on it and stop getting focused on other things. Like, devote the time to making those videos and getting a little bit better every time. It's going to work.
The biggest takeaway I have from what you just said, and I think, we could say it again, right, for the people in the back, is like, just make content, or make content similar to the content that you've already made, right?
Yeah.
Like, not saying do the same video 500 times, but like, we all fall into those content ruts where you're just like, there's nothing for me to talk about. But you've been creating content for years. There's plenty for you to talk about. So like, just make more content.
And
Um,
for anyone that has a YouTube channel now and has had any form of success over the last 6 months, what are your top performing videos over the last 6 months? Put it in ChatGPT. Say, these are my top performing videos. Can you give me 50 more ideas that are like these videos? And you'll be amazed at how you'll get a year worth of content right there.
I love it. Yeah. Digging a little bit on AI, like, I know you use it for a lot of ideas and things like that. So that's a great prompt, right? Taking your top performing videos, here they are, here's the topic, like, give me videos like these. Do you have anything else that you do that's like a good, like, I know you don't use it necessarily like write out a whole script, like you're bullet pointing out your ideas, you're doing that type of thing, but like, what are you using AI for right now?
Yeah, I mean, I use it all the time. I think a big hurdle that a lot of us face is just the getting started process with starting the video like research. And so that's why I always start my research with AI, because I have zero excuse to not get started. If I have an idea of what the video is going to be like, then I have my like 5 or 6 prompts that I plug in that's going to help me get a better idea of what the video is going to be, what the outline is going to be like. And essentially it goes, I tell ChatGPT, here's the kind of idea of the video I want to make. What should the title be? And then I have it give me the description of the video, and then I have it help me figure out what should that thumbnail look like. And so I always start with the title and the thumbnail first, and then from there, it's really easy to get into the flow of what's the video going to be, because you've already made that promise from the thumbnail and the title. Now you need to deliver on that promise. So yeah, always.
I love that, because I think so many of us have trouble getting started. And when you look at AI is not going to do it for you, but it will help you get started. Like, it will help you get
Absolutely.
these ideas flowing and everything else. So awesome stuff, because everybody wants to hear about AI. AI is like the thing. What are you AI? What are you using AI
I'm
for?
not even here. This is AI right now. So
Yeah, it's AI Katie. Gotta. I wish. Anyways, that was a shot. I was taking a shot at Katie. Dan, best place for people to connect with you.
Yeah, Instagram, DNP Best Life SD. That's the best place.
Dan P Best Life SD.
Yeah, it's a
Just
mouthful.
bars, spitting bars in your Instagram handle. I love it.
Danny San Diego was taken. I really
Huh?
messed up there by not getting that.
Oh man, that would have been a good one. That would have been a good one. Well, man, I think Katie and I both like just can't thank you enough. One, for taking your time to hop on the podcast, but two, just for how much you give back to the community. We really appreciate all your contribution, because you're doing awesome stuff, and you're always a open book to anybody that wants to learn more. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being on, and I'll see you in San Diego.